بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says in Surah an-Naml, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وَإِنَّا لَكُمْ فِي الْأَنْعَامِ لَعِبْرَةً, that verily in the animals there is a lesson. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He made the animals for us and allowed us to benefit from them and benefit from them for our rizq, for our food, and even for our milk, and for even to ride and to use for our daily needs. And as well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He made for us lessons in the animals that we can learn from them. And that's one of the reasons why the Bedouins in the time of the Sahaba and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, why they were so shrewd, because all they used to have in the desert were the animals, and they used to look to them and take lessons from them. That's why they became so shrewd. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He revealed to us about many different animals. But I'm going to speak about today in particular just one of those animals, and that's the ant. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed to us about the ant. And in the surah an-Naml, an-Naml is the plural, it means the ants in plural, the plural of Naml as one ant. And He informed us about these ants. In Surah an-Naml verse 18, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, حَتَّى إِذَا أَتَوْا عَلَى وَادِي النَّمْلَةِ, that when the army of Sulaiman, he came to the valley of the ants. So Allah informed us that there wasn't a valley at that time full of ants. There were ants living there together as a community. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قالت نملة يا أيها النمل ادخلوا مساكنكم لا يحطمنكم سليمان وجنوده وهم لا يشعرون. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that when the army came to the valley of the ants, one ant, he said, or she said, "O ants, enter your homes, otherwise the army of Sulaiman, Sulaiman and his army could destroy you without even to know." So the lesson we can learn from this ayah, we can learn many lessons from this ayah, just from this one ant who spoke out. We learn how the ants, and this ant in particular, she felt responsibility and concern. Whenever the danger came to her ummah, she felt concern for her ummah. She wasn't concerned for herself. She was concerned about how to protect her own ummah. When she realized that the danger was coming to them, that they could be harmed or have suffering or calamity could come to them, she was concerned about them. And she worried about them. And she rose and gave warning to them. She didn't become a coward. She felt she had responsibility. She felt that she had to fulfill a role, and she fulfilled that role. Before the danger arrived, she rose to help her ummah. And she came out and she called to them to enter your homes, or you could be destroyed, you could be attacked, you could be hurt, you could be harmed. She wasn't a coward to run away like the people, the Muslim lands. We have rulers nowadays, they're cowards. When the kuffar enter the lands, they're the first to run away. They're the first to compromise or to give up and to let the kuffar do what they like with the Muslims. They're the first to ally with the kuffar against Muslims. They're the first to spy on the Muslims on behalf of them. They're the first, if the kuffar say you're either with us or you're with them, they say we're with you. And they hand over any Muslims they find to the kuffar to ship them off to Guantanamo Bay, to anywhere they like. This ant, she was not like that. She didn't run away. She didn't turn her back to her ummah. She wasn't concerned about herself. She could have gone underground, in any single hole, and hid herself and to be saved from the army. Rather, she stopped, and she was not concerned about how to save herself. She wasn't concerned about how she can protect her own life. She was concerned about how to protect her ummah. So like today we have a danger for this ummah. Today this ummah is under attack from every direction, from the kuffar, from the West, from the Americans, from the British, from Israel, from the Russians, from all over the world. The kuffar are attacking the Muslim ummah. And even in Britain, inside Britain, they're attacking the Muslims, attacking the da'wah. And we saw how the danger faced by the ants, it was something small compared to what we're facing. What the ummah is facing today, they're facing real danger, occupation in the Muslim lands. They're facing the kuffar. They want to fight any Muslim called for the Sharia, call for the jihad. Any Muslim want to defend his Muslim lands. Not only that, they want to attack and to arrest or to chase anybody who wants to defend them, or sympathize with them, or even agree with them, or glorify them, or whatever they want to say, whatever they want to call or label them. They want to attack anybody, has anything to do with them. Even they want to believe in the same Islam, the same kalima, they believe in the same tawheed. Whoever they find to ally with the Muslims, they want to attack them. And you can see that especially nowadays, when they start to ban certain groups, and they want to ban anybody who wants to call for the da'wah. Anybody who wants to call for, as Tony Blair said, an Islamic caliphate. Anybody want to call for this call, they say it's against our values. We need to fight them. We need to stop them. We need to make the Muslims abide by our values. So we're facing a real calamity and a danger for this ummah. And yet, we find few people. There are only a few people willing to come out and speak the truth. There are only a few people willing to come out and to warn the Muslim ummah. Even just to say the kuffar are fighting against Islam. That they're in a war against Islam. People not even willing just to say that we need to defend ourselves. We need to support the Muslims. We need to make dua for them. And you find many people willing and ready to jump to become cowards and to turn their back on the Muslims and to declare Baraa from all the Muslims and to declare Baraa from anybody who calls for the Sharia. So you see, this aunt, she gives us a lesson because she was the one, she never turned her back. She rose at that time to fight. Not to fight, or not even to fight, even if she don't have the means to fight, to speak out, to call for the truth, to warn the Muslims. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala honored this aunt and ordered us to take lessons from her. And nowadays, if we want to be honest with ourselves, we're honest with ourselves, this ummah, they're not suitable to fulfill the duty, the way this aunt fulfilled her duty. The majority of the ummah, they're too busy with their jobs and their businesses, too busy with their own lives and being concerned for themselves. They want to say, we don't want to have anything to do with any Muslim, could have repercussions for us. They were more concerned about themselves. How can we save ourselves? So if the kuffar start to ban Muslims and ban organizations, what are you going to do? Are you going to give up? Are you going to just say, we need to be concerned, how do I save myself? Protect myself, prevent myself from being under attack? Or are you going to be more concerned and have a responsibility and concern for the ummah? Because like this aunt, she wasn't concerned about herself. She gave up her own concerns and took on the concerns of the ummah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on this ayah, He never mentioned about this ant to be an-Naml, to be the ant. He called the ant Naml, meaning the non-definitive term. Not to say the ant, just to say an ant, ordinary ant. Meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala referring to this ant, explaining how she wasn't the queen. She wasn't a big imam or a big prime minister or president or somebody in authority. An ordinary person in the ummah. An ordinary ant. Somebody, ordinary person, without anything special about her at all. So somebody could say, that what can I do? What can I do as a Muslim? I'm just an ordinary person. I don't have the authority. I'm not the king. I'm not the prime minister. I don't have any authority over the Muslims. Allah informed us how this ant, she was an ordinary member of the ummah, and yet she rose, and yet she took a stand. And she was so concerned, and had such strong feelings for her ummah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to take lesson from this. The way the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said the same thing about this Muslim ummah. He said, Man asbaha, walam yahtam bi amr muslimin, falaysa muslim, or falaysa minhum. Whoever wakes up, or in one narration, whoever wakes up and goes to sleep without to be concerned for the affairs of the Muslim, he's not one of them, or he's not a Muslim. So we need to take it seriously. You cannot be part of this ummah and you don't feel your heart beating fast whenever you hear the Muslim ummah under attack. When you don't feel yourself burning with anger when you see the kuffar attacking and violating the sanctity of the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. You cannot be part of this ummah and you're concerned with yourself and you're more concerned with how to save your own life than to be concerned with what can you do to protect and to serve the Muslim ummah. Moreover, we learn from this ayah and this ant the lesson how the ants, they always are sincere with the Muslim Ummah. And they're never going to doubt them or think bad about them. This ant, she judged the apparent. She had the principle of judging the apparent of the people. When she spoke about Sulaiman alayhi salam, when she spoke about the muwahhideen, she spoke about them with adab. She spoke about them politely and accurately. She never said about Sulaiman that he's coming to destroy you and he wants to kill you and he's an agent or he's FBI or he's CIA going to come to destroy the Muslims. Because many people, when they come out, they see du'at or they see mujahideen, they say they must be agent. They start to look into their hidden intention. They start to be concerned about what are their real intentions. They immediately assume mujahid or that mujahid, he must be looking for something else. He must have a hidden agenda, hidden intention. Many people come out from this with this argument. But this ant taught us a lesson. When she spoke about Sulaiman, she never said that he's coming to destroy the ants. She said that they could destroy the ants وَهُمْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ, without even to know. So she judged the apparent. She spoke about the muwahhideen according to what she could see, accurately. She was somebody muwahhidah. She never accepted anybody to misunderstand what she was saying. She never let anybody to take what she said out of context and to let it be an attack or let it be a slander or an accusation against Sulaiman alayhi salam or the mujahideen. So we need to remember that even if you see, some people could say that those Muslims, when they speak the truth, the way they speak, and they anger the kuffar, they're going to bring calamity on the Muslims. The BNP are going to have backlash. The kuffar are going to be more harsh with the Muslims. Instead to doubt the Muslims, and instead to say that they must be agent, they should judge the apparent. And they should remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said the believers, that when they speak the truth, they do it for the sake of Allah. And when they fight and they defend the Muslims, they do it for the sake of Allah, not for the sake of any hidden intention. And nobody knows the hearts of anybody except for Allah. The other lesson we learn from the ants is the sabr, is the patience and the perseverance, to remain steadfast and to never compromise in the haqq. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informed us about the attribute of the ants, how they're extremely patient. And nobody will doubt that about the ants. Because even when you look to their own homes, the way they build their homes huge, with many rooms, organized, and it takes a long time, so complicated, just to build their homes. And even the homes of the ants, it takes so long and such hard work to make. And from the time they begin and the time they finish, you find that the ants, their homes are destroyed time after time before they even finish. And they start from scratch. And they start again. And they work hard again. Even 60 times or more before they finish their homes. And yet they can carry on. Yet they never give up. Whatever obstacles they face, whatever destruction or hardship they face, they carry on. They persevere. Whatever the kuffar attack you or label them, or they call them fundamentalists or extremists, or they say that the ants or the Muslims, they will insult them or attack them, or they will ban them or occupy their lands or fight them or imprison them. Whatever they do, they never give up. They find another way to come back and to carry on and to be perseverant. And that is why the Prophet ﷺ, he always made it clear how we need to learn for the sabr from the ants. And Allah said, He said that Allah, He loves the servant when he does something, that He perfects it. Or that another hadith said that Allah loves the deed that you do regularly, and you persevere in that more. So we need to take this lesson. The same way the ants, when they look for food, even if the food is far away and it's a long journey and a difficult journey, however hard a journey is, however much they have to persevere, yet they carry on and they never give up. They continue until they reach the food and they feed everybody. And the same way, the mujahideen, they learn the same lesson. In the time, like the time of the Mamluks, when you had Taymur Link, he spoke about the ants.